So over the past few months, we have seen weakness in the Singapore banks, right? DBS, UOB, and even OCBC on fears of a recession, right? So it seems like we're still seeing weakness over the past few weeks, and prices have pushed down a little bit lower. So the question is, can there be more downside, or should we think about getting in or bargain hunting to catch any reversal? Hey guys, Joey here, top tier MyZelle, trader in Phillips Securities, and in this video, we'll be looking at the Singapore banks, the three Singapore banks, DBS, UOB, and OCBC. Very quickly, we just dive into their charts, look at where we are right now in terms of the trend, the short term. Could there be any support levels whereby hopefully we see a bit of rebound there, and what it says on my system as well to see if there are any bullish or maybe even bearish signals that have came out over the past few months as well. Alright, so let's dive into these stocks, DBS, UOB, and OCBC. If you're looking at them, thinking to get in, maybe holding on to it, thinking to get out, I'm sure this video will help you, so make sure you watch it all the way to the end. Let's go. Okay, so this is DBS right here, trading at about $29.95, right? So you can see that over the past few months, we have sold off from a high of about $36. We have kind of traded down. We broke this support level at $33 and started to see a bit of downside as well, down, and we are pretty much back to this critical support level at that $30. So $30 to $29, I would say, would be some sort of a critical support level. Why? Look at this right here. We were actually holding above this support level somewhere last year. So back in 2021, you can see a couple of rebounds from here. 1, 2. All right, we neared it, rebounded as well. So a couple of rebounds from that $29 to $30. So this is where we are right now, and we're in fact seeing a bit of rebounds over the past 2 to 3 weeks as well, right? But what about the trend in terms of the longer term, right? So let's take a look at the trend. So in terms of the longer term trend, there are definitely some signs of weakness in terms of the trend turning down. Why? Look at this red line. This red line is what we call the 100 days moving average, and it was actually sloping upwards. You can see since 2020, the red line went above the blue line, both lines sloping upwards. So the blue line is a 200 days moving average, so it's kind of determines the longer term trend. So when the red line is above the blue line and they're both pointing up, it's pretty much in a very strong uptrend. Look at this. It was a kind of a crossover in a bullish direction. All right, and the uptrend kind of started in November 2020, and right now you can see that there are some signs of this moving average. Look at this right here, right? So this is the 100 days moving average, and you can see that we are kind of crossing down below the 200 days moving average as this is playing out right now. So I mean, over the next few days, I think we might actually cross below the blue line, which is not a good thing. It shows that the trend could potentially turn from an upwards direction to a downwards direction. All right, so you want to be careful if that happens. And I think if we were to break certain supports like the $30 or maybe even that $29, that is where the downtrend can potentially continue further. Alright, so let's take a look at the short-term trend as well. I think over the short term, you can see that in the past 2 weeks, we have found a little bit of support just at about that 29.50. Look at this right here. So a couple of rebounds from this 29.50 level. You can see this is a bit of a rebound here. Alright, one more last week as well. So 29.50 seems like a bit of a temporary support. And in fact, we can also draw another resistance line right here. You can see that it seems like over the past 1 month, alright, this $30 and 50 cents seems like it is a bit of resistance as well. So I think the range right now is about $29.50 to about $30.50. So you're looking at trading this $1 range. I think that is possible as well. I think that is pretty much where we are consolidating now. So that's a $1 range. And for the short term, we are in fact seeing a little bit of stability in terms of the short-term trend pointing down is now actually flattening out, right? So you can see this green line is the 20 days moving average. So it's pointing down, right? You can see, and now you can see that this green line is starting to flatten out, right? So that's a good sign whereby we might see a bit of a short-term consolidation right here from $29.50 to $30.50, all right, as we consolidate, and hopefully, right, I think in order to see a good move up, we definitely want to break above this $30.50. If that happens, maybe back to 32 or 33, that could be the upside. But right now, I think that is still the immediate resistance that we want to see break first. All right, and that would be the $30.50 50 cents, right? So this is DBS right now, a little bit of consolidation in the short term, all right, as we consolidate here. In the longer term, as I say, this don't look so good, right? If the fact that, you know, the rates, the 100 days moving average go below the blue line, 200 days moving average, that's where we want to be careful, all right? We want to be careful, and I think if we continue to break like supports like 29.50 or maybe 29, I think that's where this longer term trend can actually start to turn down more aggressively, and we might actually head to a downtrend. So this is DBS on my 1GT system, whereby we have a couple of bullish and even bearish signals that have came out and kind of like guides us on entry and exit as well. Right, so you can see that we have a couple of good bullish signals. In fact, last year was one of those strong uptrending stocks. Look at the bar right here at the bottom, it's like green in color. So a very strong uptrend, a couple of good bullish signals as it pushed up from like 28 to $30, came down, and then we got another bullish signal, started to push up from December all the way up to January, got an exit, and look at this right here, kind of hit the peak right here, and we got this exit and started to sell down. That's where we like a red arrow went all the way down. And look at this was another red bearish signal, I think somewhere around April as well. The trend started to turn, all right, and we had a couple of bearish red arrow pointing down. So like a bearish signal, another bearish signal, another bearish signal. So a little bit shaky. So we had a couple of bearish signals that have came out since like April over the past 2 to 3 months. And the key here is you can see that the trend has kind of like turned in color. I'm looking at the trend bar right here. We have turned from a green color to a bit of a red in color. So not a good thing in terms of the trend, whereby, you know, if you do see like this thing red in color, it could be a downtrend. And worse still, if we had a couple of bearish signals that have came out, that's a sign of weakness as well. If we do break certain support, like I mentioned, $29.50 or maybe even $29, that's where potentially where we might actually see more downside, right? So just a bit more careful, I would say. If you're looking to buy, make sure you have a stop loss. If you're trading that like the range of $29.50 to $30.50, you can do it, but you know, in case that support were to break down, have a stop loss in case you're just going for the short term as well. That's what you could do. All right, so just take note right now. This is what it says on system. We have bearish signals that came out. The trend started to turn. All right, let's see if there are any signs of reversal. We do see like the trend turning out or back to green color, or maybe a few new bullish signals. Yeah, then we might think about buying more aggressively. But right now, just a bit more cautious if you're thinking to buy. Okay, next bank will be UOB right here, trading about $26.42, right? So there are definitely some signs of weakness in the short term as well. You can see right here, we kind of broke certain support levels like the $29.50, even this $28. Look, I think $28 was a really key level to watch. So you can see we kind of broke down here. It was a resistance and rebounded, but unfortunately, look at this right here. We kind of broke down this 28, and that's where we had more selling actually coming in. So it kind of like went down, and even that 27 gave way as well, right? So this is where we are, about 26.44. So I would say that right now we might actually see a little bit of weakness. The trend is, I mean, compared to like DBS, whereby I mentioned the short-term trend is a little bit flattening out. I think for UOB, it is still slightly pointing down, right? Why do I say that? Look at the green line, this 20 days moving average. You can see that this 20 days moving average green line is still sloping down. Does it make sense? Right, it's still sloping down. Of course, prices is still like hanging below this green line. So not a good thing in terms of the short term. We might actually see a bit more weakness. I think right now the resistance. So this is like the support level, $27. You can see. Let me show it for you. You can see that this is where we had a bit of resistance. We broke up here. That was last year. I think beginning of the year we broke this 27, and the upside really started. And obviously this has become a little bit of support, whereby we broke down, and this support will now turn to become like a resistance level. So let me just turn this to red in color. All right, this would be red in color as well. All right, so a little bit of resistance somewhere at that $27 right here. You can see a couple of touches here. Touch came down. We neared it, came back down. So I think that's where potentially where we can see selling again. Anything be near that $27, we can see some selling happening, and we might push it down all the way to maybe around that $26. So the range is somewhere from $26 to $27. A little bit more negative or bearish below 27. I think that is the temporary resistance level they want to take note. I think we can see selling coming back and might start to retrace to 26, whereby some bargain hunting can actually come back again. So let me just draw another support here at $26. So that's the range over the past 2 weeks. You can see a couple of up and down here as it consolidates. All right, but the trend is still pretty much down in the short term, as I say, because this moving average, the 20 days moving average green line is still pointing down for now. All right, so just take note. I think UOB just want to be a bit more careful, because it's a bit more bearish below 27. And if we do break that $26, look at this, right? It's been rebounded a couple of times, like 2 or 3 times. But if we break that 26, just take note, we might actually see selling happening towards the next support level, and that could be all the way to where we were somewhere in 2021 last year, whereby we found a little bit of support, and that would be somewhere 25 to maybe that 25.50. Look at this, a couple of rebounds from here, a bit of rebound. Okay, that's where we found a bit of support here as well. Support. So anything from like $25.50 to $25, I think that's where we can hopefully see some good bargain hunting coming back again. So no clear signs of a reversal for now, all right, because as I say, we are still kept below that 27. So normally what we want to see is that if it can consolidate like sideways, let me just show you how it works. For example, let's say we can consolidate here from that $26 to $27 up and down, all right, and eventually if we do break this like immediate $27 resistance, that could be a sign of strength as well. And that happens, and this green line, the 20 days moving average, start to flatten and eventually point up, that could be an added signal whereby the trend has probably turned up in the short term, and that's where we might see a little bit of a reversal back up, back to maybe like 28 or maybe $29. But right now, anything below 27, just take note, it's a bit more bearish. Okay, quick one, UOB on my 1GT system as well. So we had a couple of good bullish signals, I think somewhere in like December last year. As I say, the trend was really good then. And we had this way to push from like about $26 to about that 29, and went up a bit more. We got an exit right here about 32, right at the peak, and it started to sell off. And I think somewhere around, so another bullish signal in March as it rebounded, and then what happens? Well, I think somewhere around here, let me just zoom in, a couple of bearish signals started to come back here. I think somewhere in May as well. Look at this, when we kind of broke that $29 support level. I think that's where some signs of weakness, and you can see that the trend has pretty much turned from green to red in color. So this is some signs of weakness in terms of the trend turning down. And as I say, if you see the trend turning red and then a couple of new bearish signals start to come out, that's where you want to be careful. So look at this bearish signal here on the 25th of May. All right, started to consolidate a bit and then kind of like broke down and just went all the way down to about $26.50, $26. We got an exit, and there's some sort of like a new bearish signal, but it still haven't played out yet. So we'll see, right? As I say, if we do break that 26 or maybe $25, then that's where you want to be careful. There could be actually more downside, but hopefully, all right, hopefully this 25 to 25.50 would stand as a really good support. All right, hold quite well, and you can see some stability there. If that happens, that's a good thing, right? If not, just want to be careful. If we do break certain key support levels with the trend down, that's where more selling can actually come back. Alright, let's talk about the final bank, OCBC, right here, trading at about $11.45. So it seems like we are still trading below this resistance level. Alright, so it was like the support about $11.50. So we have broken this $11.50, and now I think that is still the resistance level. So you can see that we are still holding kind of like below this $11.50. Alright, kind of like touch came down. So that is the range right now. I think somewhere to about 11.30, and some bargain hunting is coming back. So a little bit weaker in the short term as well. Look at this, below 11.50, and this green line, 20 days moving average, is still pointing down with prices kind of like still below it. So that's where we can potentially still see some weakness happening. All right, anything below 11.50, I think that's where selling can happen, all the way to like 11.30. If that breaks, then maybe back towards that $11 psychological level, right? So this is OCBC. It looks a little bit different from like DBS and UOB, which have gone up quite a bit and sold off quite a lot as well. But for OCBC, you can see that we are slowly trending down. We kind of broke a few, some of the key support like 11.50, but right now it seems like it is starting to consolidate, but at a lower level. All right, so just take note, 11.50 is the key level. We definitely want to get past that level. We're going to definitely break above that 11.50 or maybe 11.60 for more upside to happen, maybe all the way back up to that $12. If not, then that's where selling can actually continue further. Yes guys, so there we have it. We have covered the three Singapore local banks, DBS, UOB and OCBC. So I hope we now have a clearer picture of where we are and how we have played out over the past 1 to 2 months, and it seems like we have traded lower indeed, right? So take note of some of the levels I talked about in terms of some of the key support levels. We definitely want to hold both those support levels because there are some signs of weakness in terms of the trend turning down, and if we do break those levels, those supports, that's where we can potentially see more selling. So just take note of those support levels. Hopefully we see some good reversal, bullish price actions there, or some good reversal candles there that could point towards a good upside reversal. But if not, we want to be careful. Alright, so I hope you like this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what is your biggest takeaway and what are your thoughts on the three Singapore banks. I'll do my best to reply to each and every one of you. Alright, so thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.